Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome to episode 9 of ShrigleytubeTV. Please excuse my appearance. I'm full of shale. I'm in a field in Northamptonshire at the stock car Brisker F1 World Final. Just finishing off the videos ready for tonight's upload. So this video you're going to watch now is just purely about the workshop, the engineering. I've got a bit of a crank balance and things like that going on, and we've got this new twin cam head for the imp that's arrived, and I do a talk on that. But what I'm going to do, I've done loads of footage from this weekend. It's been absolutely superb. The track's been awesome. The racing has been mind-blowing. But I've got so much of it, I'm going to make a whole new video for maybe Monday or Tuesday at night. I'll get it uploaded when I've got more of that 4G stuff, whatever makes the phone work, because it's a bit limited here. So I'm going to try and get this uploaded today, ready for 7 o'clock tonight. And it's going to start off with a video about balancing a crankshaft. Now, many might remember I told you I used to work for Bob Jones with B&J Race Engines. Now Bob's got the shank crank balancer, and I went up to his place with this crank and we balanced it all. And he's a little bit not camera shy, but just not camera keen, we'll call it. I did my best with him to try and get him to, to participate, but Bob's just old school. So very kind of him to let us take the camera into the place and get some footage. He's got an Alfa Montreal V8 which he lets have a look round, and he fired it up for us. And he's also got the Super 2000, the Nescafe Blend 37 Laguna, the Williams Laguna. So the engine was out of that. He has a little poke around that as well, and yeah, really amazing engineering. So I hope you enjoy all that, and then we'll get this uploaded now. Thanks for all the subscribers and all the kind comments, and we'll look forward to speaking to you. I'll do some more of a chat on Tuesday night when I've got some more 4G. We'll get the stock car video uploaded. Right, I brought a crankshaft here to B&J Race Engines to have the crankshaft balanced, and just pulled up and just thought I'd put this in the video. It's a lovely car, an Alfa Montreal, I believe it is. We'll try and get Bob to pop the bonnet on it so that we can see the engine, because it's a work of art. Where are you, Robert? He's hiding. He's not too keen on being on a camera. Thinks it might steal his soul. Oh, hang on, he's behind me. Right, so we've got the Hillman crank on the machine. What's this machine called, Bob?
It's a balancing machine.
No, the make, is it a shank? Shank. So I've done a bit of setting up. You just got to mess about changing the height for the mains so that it sits in the right plane, and then it's driven by this belt at speed, but you'll see all that in a minute. And then it has this radial drill so that we can balance it whilst we can remove the material while it's on the machine, and then retest it. But you'll see all that in a minute. It's really clever and does a really good job. And what Bob's doing at the moment is he's just slicing up some reflective tape that goes on the front pulley here, and that's so that the machine knows where the crankshaft is in relation to the weights, because obviously we can only remove the material from the counterbalances. So Bob's just setting that up there, and then as you can see, Bob's got lots of engines around here, lots of crankshafts and all sorts of goodies. Right, Bob's going to put some air on, because this is like pneumatic, and that pulls the tension on the belt that drives the crankshaft round, and then the end float is controlled by 2 ball bearings each end of the crankshaft, so that it can't move around, because it does fly around at a good old speed, this, when he's checking it for balance. So have I got the belt in the right place, Bob? That's a good question.
Too tight.
Too tight. I've not learned, have I?
Nope.
Is that because I finished my apprenticeship early?
Don't think you ever started it.
Oh, crikey. He's normally nice to me, honestly.
Oh, you're in the hole.
In a hole? Oh my god, it's a double failure.
Yeah.
Right, I'll reposition that.
Well, let's see where we are anyway.
Okay, yeah, that's an idea. It's not too bad, is it? Not rubbing on the side anyway.
No, that'll be alright.
That'll be alright, so just move that one over.
Yeah, move that over.
Just what Bob's saying is, because it has the oil hole there for the feed, if that runs into the bearing, it can give it a little bit of a rattle, and we don't want that. It'll measure it. That's what I'm trying to say. Thanks, Bob. I'm just in the canteen making Bob a brew, trying to get him to loosen up a little bit so we can see more of his workshop and what he's got to say, that little face. Now, one thing I did learn at B&J was how to make a cup of tea. You can't contaminate the tea bag with the milk, and you never put more water in the kettle than you need to. Two very important points. If you get that wrong, you're just going nowhere in life. Just put the crank on the balancer and it's having its first spin now. Sounds nice. Sugar looks good. That's for his 36 minus 1 because it's on fuel injection, this engine. And what's it saying, Bob? Is it looking pretty good, or where are we at?
Back's out.
The back end's out. So this being the front end and this being the back end, the flywheel end. And how far out is it, you think?
Tell me a second.
Thank you. I think what Bob's doing here is finding out where the machine's telling him to remove the material. And we'll do that with the drill and take the weight out of it, and then we'll run it again and see how it affects it. Right, the machine's told us 17.3 mil, is it, Bob?
Yeah.
On an 8mm drill, and the machine knows the density of the material that we're removing, so I just basically set this here on 0 now, or not on 0, sorry, on 17.3 millimeters. I'll do that a bit closer in a minute, and then I'll drill the hole and hopefully it'll balance up. Two now, so Bob's just tick boxed them. You can see here and here is but a tick. That means we drilled them holes, so we're going to the next web, do we, Bob?
Yep.
Which will be web number 1, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Drilling's already, right?
That's it. Let's hope they don't clash. What's your Mitzi? I'll slide it over.
That's 5 now.
We're squeezing alongside the existing balancing holes. Just doing this one to 7.8. This is the first hole. Coming down on the gauge here. Right, we've done the holes in the webs now. We're going to see if it's in balance. So can I press the green button, Bob? Am I qualified to do so?
No, but go on. Take a risk.
Take a risk. Off she goes. So I take it bullseye is the middle, Bob, and that's what we're aiming for. It says intolerance, intol. Oh, out of toll. Intol. Oh. So what sort of standard or spec is this to now, Bob?
That's G6.3.
G6.3. So that's safe for 10,000 RPM.
Why not?
9.5. It's in a road car, this one. But yeah, it'd be nice to get it right. So is that all in tolerance, that section? Yep. So we can move to the flywheel now, can we?
Yep.
Have we got to weigh it first because it's a heavy one, this is standard. Cool. Okay, first run with the flywheel on now. Standard flywheel, other than it's had a reface for the clutch. Just had some marks on it. How's it looking, Bob? Is it miles out or is that good?
2.1 grams.
2.1 grams, that's not bad, is it? So when they were factory balanced, they obviously did a fairly reasonable job considering probably had bits of plasticine and stuff, didn't they?
5.54 times
right,
tolerance.
Times tolerance. Oh, that's what that means.
What's,
do you want to go there or I can go on this part?
Go on, very look a neater job, won't it?
Needs a job? Yeah, I like the idea of that. Hang on, what's going on here, Bob? I'm meant to be doing the job. I don't think I can afford for you to do the job.
Well, I decided to make a bit more money out of it.
Bit more money? Crikey. Right, if you get worn out, let me know, I'll take over. Right, so with the first hole, we're down to 1.3, you say, Bob?
Yeah.
And then we'll do some more holes and hopefully we'll get it now. On hole 2 now. Is it going to be where we want it to be? It's not quite in the bullseye, Bob.
No. 400 grams come out.
Milligrams.
Yeah.
399 milligrams. How far do you reckon that is deep?
Probably that hole going as deep as that one.
Okay, we're on third time lucky, third hole. Oh, it's in the bullseye, Bob.
Yeah.
Cool, can we put the clutch cover on now?
Yeah. No.
No.
Different file.
Different file, right. You do the clever bit. I might pay you for it. A little bit of money. Right, this clutch cover's on now and it's centre dotted at positions 1 and 4 so that we can always make sure it goes back to the same place, because obviously it'll be in balance with the flywheel and the crankshaft in a minute. Can I hit the green button, Bob?
Yeah.
I'm qualified. I think that means it's out of tolerance, I might be wrong. 5.94 grams out the flywheel was, yeah. So I've drilled a couple of holes in its position. Can I press the go button?
Yeah. What's the go next door?
Sorry?
You're,
Oh, the camshaft.
it was delivered at 8:48.
Right. I'm not desperate. Still out, isn't it? It needs more.
Oh yeah.
3.2, so I'm halfway there.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 holes in the flywheel later, and it's perfectly on balance, so we'll call that job. Very kindly opened the bonnet of his Alfa Romeo V8 Montreal so we can see the engine, and yeah, it's apparently, was it an F1 racing engine, Bob? 2.6 litre V8, obviously 2 valve per cylinder, hemispherical chambers, and it has this, it's a spiker mechanical fuel injection, which is quite hard to tune. I think that's what Bob's attraction to it is, isn't it, Bob? You've done a lot of messing with that.
Good.
Does it run well? Have we got some keys? Can it make a noise? Oh, that'd be good. It is a proper beast, isn't it? It's got a lovely stainless steel exhaust system on it as well, so it sounds... Is it dry sumps, Bob?
Yeah.
A standard? That's the tank there, isn't it? See the pipe off there. Crikey. It's like a racing car, isn't it? Gearbox is at the back as well, isn't it? Oh no, the gearbox is on the engine, isn't it? Yeah. Can we hear it then? Oh no, we're not revving it up. I just wanted a little listen, if you didn't mind. It's just beautiful the way it's like a Swiss clock, isn't it? Proper car, this. Proper engine. Beautiful. And the best thing is, Bob uses this car. He goes all over in it. Got some clocks in there, look at that dashboard. Proper ahead of its time, really, isn't it? Good oil pressure, Bob. Oh, wow. Right, knock it off, Bob, you want. Thanking you. Well, hang on. We've got a special engineering treat here for you. Bob loves his race cars. That's his Laguna there, and they're just doing some service work on the engine, and he said I could make a little video on it. So we've got lights in here, Bob. But just looking at it, the engine has... Is that the drive shaft running in front of it, Bob?
Yeah.
So it sits that far back in the bulkhead. The drive shaft and the gearbox is in front of it. Wow. And this was a Williams, what is it? Renault Williams. All done by Williams. Unlimited budget. Mega. Absolutely mega. How many horsepower?
310.
310 at 8,500.
Just under.
Just under. That's mega. It's a special bit of kit. Have we got any bits out of it on the floor that we can see? Like camshafts or cylinder heads or anything? Bench. There's a block. Wow. I mean, this is all proper one-off engineering. Never happen again. This is a cylinder head, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And it's all on finger rockers. Amazing. Oh, is that a piston and rod?
Yeah.
My God, they weigh nothing, do they? They call them Eiffel Tower rods, don't they? Look at that. Some design gone in there. Brilliant. Lovely job. New screen rubber in the LDV. Dead pleased with that. Real nice. My mate Jack here just been and rescued a Hillman for me. New circuit car. Last one, Caledonian. I've not seen it yet, so I'm really excited. I only saw pictures on the internet, bought it blind, it was cheap as chips. Oh mate, it's rotten, isn't it? What's going on here? It's got a nest. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, you got doors as well. Oh, dented there, aren't they? Where's the other side of it?
Wings and all sorts inside.
Wings and all sorts. Oh my word, it gets better. Oh, nice. Hey, at least it's straight, you know. Front panel's all straight. What is it like over the cones at the back? Well, it's not been repaired. Just that when they go there, they're really hard to get right again. That looks alright. It's be alright this, you know, make a good race of this. Perfect. Right, chaps, something a little different from usual. I don't normally deal with anything other than Hillman imp engines, but a friend from Jersey's asked me to get involved with this XE. I've actually got two to do. I've got this one which I started building a while ago. That's got to be done at the same time. I'm sort of group dyno them, so while we're set up for XEs, we'll dyno them both at the same time. And this lad wants to take part in the rally on the 14th of October this year, so I better get my finger out. So to give a bit of background on the job, it was a race engine. I think it was a JRE engine, 2 litre C20xe Vauxhall red top engine, and it's been broken to different pieces, and someone's had the head and provided a head for him, etc. We've got some throttle bodies and stuff down here for it, but the crank and the rods and pistons all remain. So I said it all looks good, we're just going to put it back together, as it had done no hours when it came apart. And what's actually made me do a video is what's interested me is, normally these blocks are 86mm stroke by 86mm bore, which gives us exactly 1998cc. And this chap who wants to race, I said, oh, you know, let's put a crank in it or rally. He says, no, we don't want to go above 2 litre, because then we're in with the Millingtons and the Smith & Jones engines, he said, and they're just are a world away. So keep it under 2 litres. Can we use the original bore? So I said, well, I'll measure it and we'll have a look. Now, normally on an 86mm bore, we'd run the 4th thou clearance in the piston, so this would measure 85.9. But what is really clever, and I think they're the Omegas or acrylites. Oh, they're Omegas. These Omega pistons, I've measured them all up. You know, where we measure them here on the biggest part of the piston where the thrust is. So I've measured them up, and they measure 86mm. So I think what they've done is, because they knew they were stuck with an 86mm bore block, and most of them would be second hand, you'd be unlikely to find a brand new one. What they've done is they've made the pistons 86mm, which should be 4 thou bigger than 85.9. So you run the clearance in the block. So the block is 86.1. Sorry, I'm doing all the conversion here, aren't I? 0.1 is 4 thou, and we like to run 4 thou clearance on the pistons. So the pistons are now 86 instead of 85.9, and the block is 86.1 instead of being 86. So I just set this. This is called a bore mic, and we use this to measure the bore to make sure it's parallel and make sure it's in tolerance, etc. So I've just set this up in the micrometer after I measured the bores, and what we'll do is we'll put this in and we'll see what it's saying. Obviously 0 is size, so I can see from just at the top there, see where the needle changes directions. That's the biggest point. So we're just under 5 thou clearance there. Let's go to the bottom and check the bottom. 5 thou there. Let's check it at 90. Oh gosh, lose my way here. Just under 5. Just under 5. So because it has run, you see, it probably was 3.5, 4 when it was fresh, and then it's just knocked a thou off, which is next to nothing. We'll just check them all. That's cool. So it's consistent, and there's no wear mark in the block whatsoever. So what's happened with this block is it's probably been in a red top, or in a Vauxhall Astra GTE for 80,000 miles of its life. It will have had some bore wear, and the people that have built it have gone, all right, we'll get the pistons made 0.1 bigger or 4 thou bigger, and then we've just basically honed it and made it nice and round again and got rid of the wear mark. So yeah, that's good. Now if you look at the block, you'll notice I've just inspected it for cracks and stuff. I don't think it's ever had a skim across the top, so I'm going to give it a quick flash, just like minimum 5 thou, just so we get a picture, make sure it's not sagged anywhere. If anything exciting happens, I'll video it. And I've took the bungs out of it so we can see through the oilways now. And also this is where it has a one-way valve for the oil that runs up to the head to stop the oil from draining out the hydraulics overnight, and the crap can settle behind them. So I've tapped that and drawbarred it out. So we're all ready to start cleaning now. You see the red paint and that, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have to go manual style with the wire wheel. It'll take a bit of time, but we'll try and get it back to metal, and then we can paint it, deck it, and get building it. Yeah, I've got all the parts, so it's got to be done in like a week and a half's time. And I've also got this Hillman to put back together, just a roadie. So it's going to be a busy week. Still on the XE, the crank and the flywheel back from the balancing job. I did do a little video of it, so I'll add that. And getting some acid, I give them a quick polish and measured them, and they're all spot on. Now I did say I would report if there was anything exciting to talk about while skimming the block. So I've set it up and just giving it a light skim. And I'm not sure how well the camera's going to pick this up, but I know you can see just there the tool has barely touched it, and that's because it's just ever so slightly low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another couple of thou on and get under this. And I run when I do an iron face like this, I run the tool really slow on a really slow feed. It's like 20 minutes a pass, but I do that for a reason, because with iron it's really easy for the tool to rub and give you a nice shiny finish. But if it rubs, what you get is you get a situation where the block does this, because when the tool is in contact like that, it rides above, and then when it has the big bore, it drops in and then rides out again. So we've got to make sure the tool isn't rubbing at all. We'll start with a fresh tip, and yeah, look for that nice grey finish so we know it's not rubbed, it's definitely cut. Okay, YouTubers, we've got a bit of a treat going on here. This is a Nathen twin cam head, and me and my pal, William. This is Will Parry, by the way. This is the brains behind the operation. He does all the exhaust manifolds. He's just dropped some lovely manifolds off now. Look at that. Lovely equal length manifolds. They work a treat, they do. But the reason Will's here is the customer, who's asked to remain anonymous, has asked if we can, have a discussion between us and how we're going to go about doing it. So we're going to put like a 1220cc imp engine underneath it. As you might be able to tell, it obviously stood upright in the costin Nathen racing car, probably with the gearbox behind it as a mid-engine car. Hence why it's got these you know, side draft Weber adapters on, manifold adapter on it. But what we're going to do is we're going to help him to put it in his car, which is like an imp. So we're going to make it so it's on the angle, same as an imp. And we'll have a bit of a chat, and we think we're going to go downdraft, how we will. Make a nice swan.
I think we're probably going to go downdraft on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we've got a good clearance to the
Chassis.
bodywork.
Yeah. And we've got some fuel injection to go on it. And then the exhaust, we've just been in discussion about this as well. We're going to make it like, you know, when you lift the bonnet of like a Mark II Escort, and it's got a proper sort of Simpson big bunch of bananas, you know, that come up. Because did you say something about that's where the air wants to go when it comes out the port?
Yeah, I think generally if you look at an exhaust port, the gas is trying to go up rather than down as it leaves the port. So if we can do that, that's going to be nice.
Yeah. Well, we'll bring them up, and then we'll bring them up, bring them down into a collector, and then we'll run the 4 into 2 into 1 ideally for the torque, and then we'll run the silencer in the standard position. So from the back it'll look like a standard imp, but when you lift the boot lid it'll be like, oh, that's a bit snazzy. So we've been picking holes in it really. We've been looking at the lineup on it and thinking, oh, we could do with doing this first. So we're going to dowel all the cam cover and machine round it and make it all pretty. We might lose this yet, and then because we've got no distributor in the engine, we might be able to put a filler neck there or something, and we'll breathe from the crankcase breather from the sump. So we'll just have a quick look. It's a 2-valve hemispherical chamber. Any thoughts, William? At least it's got cams. That's going to save me some money, isn't it? I mean, it's all a bit Eve Robinson. When we look at it, I don't want to be horrible, but see these tubes here? These are designed to drain the oil from one side of the engine to the other, or balance the pressures or whatever. But they're not even straight. And then it's got like a horrible oil feed system at the back here, which I just don't like. We're going to have to tidy all that up as well. And these do you reckon someone's chewed it out of a piece of solid? It looks like it, doesn't it?
It's interesting. It's on a bigger follower.
Yeah. And it's like, it's got a bit close here. I think we're going to start by putting a set of modern Colsibro guides in it, and we'll put some proper modern valve seals on it, so that rather than draining the oil back down through these holes, we'll let it just bathe in the oil and run down the front, and then nothing will get on the guides because they'll have decent seals on them. I think that's a good way to start. We'll probably send these cams away to Ken. They don't look overly wild. I think they're about 400 thou, but we might get them reprofiled to a known profile that we've used on the imp before. Now in here, you can see obviously hemispherical chamber, and apparently this was supposed to do like 100 horsepower on an 850cc screamer bottom end. But the guy I said to him I'd like to put it on a bigger bottom end as possible to make use of these enormous 30mm ports. So we're putting it on a 1228, which is like a 75 by 69.5mm stroke bottom end. So yeah, we're just trying to decide whether we're going to go with a big wheel string. It has been welded up in the past, which makes me a little bit nervous, because sometimes what could happen is we could be skimming it. We'll skim it, minimum lick, go up, put the radius in for the wheel string, and you hit like a pocket of porosity or air or whatever, and then the whole lot's scrap, and it's like, oh no, we've got to weld it up again. So I really don't want to take any material off it unless I absolutely have to. I'm half thinking of just giving it a flash, and we'll do a dry liner block so we haven't got the expansion issues, and we'll run it with a modern Cometic head gasket, I think. I think that's going to be a good way to go. But any thoughts on the ports? I mean, it looks sort of similar to an imp 1.4, 1.2 or something. The exhaust seat looks like it's made out of chocolate, because it's going
to need some new seats in it.
Has that been ran? Actually, that's not where. Someone's just cut it badly. What we'll do is we'll get it to Bob at B&J, and we'll get it on the newer machine, and we'll do him a proper 3-angle, and we'll follow the angle into the chamber as well and make it nice. But I like the spark plug location. That's going to be good. Obviously, we'll have to do a bespoke set of pistons for it with the cutouts, so that... And it'd be interesting to see how much lift we can run at top dead centre, because being like a compound angle engine, you know, we don't want them catching. So there's a few measurements we have to do. We might be better staying with a smaller valve, you know, so we can run more lift at top dead, than it being on giant valves and not having any lift there. Obviously, because as the valve opens and closes, they both use the same airspace, if you can imagine. So we've got to be careful they don't catch. So yeah, anything you'd like to add, Will?
No, a lot to think about. There's
So what do you reckon? Next week the manifold will be ready, yeah?
Give or take.
No, there's no major panic on it. I'm miles away because I'm overcommitted at the moment with other jobs. So you can take this all away with you and have a good think about it. And then just...
Gonna have to mock it up in the car and plan where everything's going to go, I think.
How could we tidy all this to make it look nicer? We can use like an hurdy-gurdy, couldn't we, I think? It's just been attacked, hasn't it?
It looks like it's had a few different people working on it over the time since it's...
I don't know how many there is in existence. It's got to be rare. But power-wise, I'm hoping it's going to do the 100 horsepower per litre. So, you know, it should do 120 horsepower, shouldn't it?
It should do.
Should do. Definitely going to have the...
We've got a bit more area on the inlet port, which is nice.
Yeah. It's got some cameras and stuff, so... Brilliant. Right, well, thanks, Will, for a little talk on it. We won't go on too much about it at this stage, but just something else to bait you guys with. Hopefully we'll get the build and the dyno session as well next year when it's finished.